What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Contesting the Point, the show that pits two of your favorite Call of Duty League personalities against each other as we break down the biggest stories coming out of competitive Call of Duty. I am Malik Forte, and this week I'm joined by two legends in the Call of Duty community. We got Nameless and Chance, fresh back from London. How you guys feeling? Y'all feeling good, man?
I'm feeling great. Like, I get to talk Call of Duty with one of my favorite legends of the scene, Nameless, so I can't complain.
I feel okay. I'm just ready to eat my prey and dominate Contesting the Point, as I am the reigning champion of this show.
Really?
And I can't wait to dominate it again.
Really?
Yeah,
right.
I am.
All right, cool. We'll see if the jet lag doesn't catch up with you during this show, man. If you can stay sharp, you're gonna need to. Now, guys, being that this is the first episode of Contesting the Point, let's review the rules of the show. We're gonna take a look at a story from the Call of Duty League. I'm going to give an opinion, probably a bad one, on the story, and then I'll assign one of these guys to defend my opinion while the other guests will have to attack it. As I hear a good argument, I'll award points. And after 3 headlines, whoever has the most points wins and gets to pop off on the Golden Astro headset for 60 seconds in the Astro Listen Up moment. Sounds good to you guys? You guys ready?
Sounds
good.
great,
Let's do
man.
it.
I can't wait to destroy this guy.
All right, let's jump straight into it. The first storyline we'll cover is the Chicago Huntsmen, who are your winners of the first ever CDL tournament event. They beat out the Dallas Empire 3-0 in the grand finals and only dropped 3 maps in their run. My hot take is Envoy was the MVP of the London event. I think that's a pretty solid opinion. But Nameless, I'm going to make you defend this one. Tell me what you think, man.
Yeah, it's not even a hot take. He was absolutely the MVP of the tournament. He was the best player there, a clear cut above the rest. You look at this team, right, and they have superstars across the board. Envoy burst into the scene last year. He's the best player on his team on Gen G. He was dominating, and he didn't get that event win. Well, he comes into this year, he gets that event win, and he does it in a dominant fashion. This guy is the role player for this team. Make no mistake, Scump is able to go out there and get all those kills, and people are saying that he was going to be MVP, all this stuff. Envoy has the most objective points of the entire tournament. He had 449 seconds in the hill, 24 dom caps, a 1.13 overall in the entire tournament, and a 1.5 in Search and Destroy. This guy's incredible. Like, what he does for this team, it allows these guys to just go off and slay. And his role is by far the hardest. Teams are trying to copy how he plays because of how good he is. This kid's incredible. MVP for sure.
Good points. All right, well, that's going to be tough to attack against because that was a good defense. What you got, Chance?
Envoy didn't have a 1.5 S&D KD. Okay. It was a 1.4.
We round up out here.
So we'll be a little bit particular, but can you give me context? How good is a 1.4 AKD in Search and Destroy?
It's incredible.
Incredible KD. Scump, though. Scump was a man on a mission, had a 2.13. If a 1.5 is incredible, how good is a 2.13? You are so far above and beyond better than everyone else at Search and Destroy in the event that Scump is going to be my MVP. Envoy absolutely was better in like respawn, but by not too large of a margin. Clear cut better, yes. He was the playmaker, he opened up the map, but Scump was that slayer, was putting up kills, was more engaged than Envoy overall when it comes to at least gunfights. So it's at least close in the respawns, but in Search and Destroy, it's too big of a gap. Scump at times was throwing the team on his back. Like the only game 5 they had, the most important situation when they were going against Paris, Scump took over 13-3, just completely dominated the lobby. The next highest on his team had 6 kills. He completely takes over the game in Search. He helped Chicago prove on the only one thing that we thought they might be even rough at. Scump was a guy.
So let me get this straight, though. So you're saying that, given all the stats and the way this team plays, that Search and Destroy is what completely trumps everything else that Envoy did. All his objective work being the most objective points in the entire tournament, just that 0.5 in Search and Destroy completely trumps everything Envoy did and what he does for that team.
Well, Scump also does a ton of stuff for his team in hardpoint and domination as well. It's not like Scump is lacking in the game mode. They're very close. I'll give Envoy the nod.
Envoy does a lot of stuff in Search and Destroy, too.
He's the playmaker as well. But this is a team stacked from top to bottom, as you said, with nothing but slayers that are all great at respawn. And we knew after the Minnesota event they were going to be a great respawn team. We were concerned about their Search and Destroy.
Riddle me this.
Who went to the grind in Search and Destroy and got so good at it that they were taking over games?
I've heard all
it was
this.
Scump.
Listen to this, though. When's the last time Scump looked like this?
It's been a long time.
Why do you think that reason is? Why do you think he looks so good now?
Great team,
think he just
motivation,
got, he just got
effective,
better?
a game that suits his play style.
Who was better last year?
Probably Envoy.
Okay.
Welcome to Modern Warfare.
Now,
it's a different year.
No. That's not how this goes. He picks up Envoy to his team. And Scump is great, don't get me wrong, he's great in this game, but he's needed a piece like that. Value to the team. Value to the team. Envoy brings that value that allows him to play better. He was not playing like this the last few years because he didn't have a player like that on his team. He has that valuable player, and now he's able to
I can
do
only
things
see
he's
what I
done.
see at the event, because what about the value that Gunless and RCDs also bring to Scump, or being reunited with Formal as like a T2P?
They all
it's
bring
not
value.
one man
They won
that
the
turns
event.
Scump into a god all of a sudden. Again, the search and destroy is the featuring factor for me that puts Scump above him, and it's not by a massive margin, but it was the one game mode that they were struggling at, if at all, and it's when it came down to it in the game 5 when you need it the most. Scump took over, got 13 kills. That's what MVPs do. They take over when it matters most.
Scump was looking good. You know what? I do think that Envoy was strong, and he does enable the rest of his team. Nameless, I think you defended that pretty well. But I think for this particular topic, I'm going to go with Chance on the attack. Scump looked great. Scump, he looked pretty unstoppable. He looked like the marquee player that we've grown to know him as over time. So I'm going to go with Scump. I was actually expecting you to take Envoy to task for that clutch moment that he had against Krim where he kind of choked. I thought you were going to call him out for that, but you did it well enough attacking him on all the other points. So we'll give you that one. And right now it sits at Chance with 4 points, Nameless with 3. Moving on to the second headline, Dallas takes second place in London. Now, after a rocky 0-2 start to the season in Minnesota, Dallas managed to get their act together and come out swinging in London. But despite this progress, there's one glaring disparity that I've been seeing. Is it safe to say that Shotzzy is not ready for the CDL spotlight? Nameless, you did so good defending the first topic. I'm going to give this point to you. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times we go as a player boom or bust, and I think Shotzzy's a bust. I don't think he's ready for the CDL spotlight yet, and he probably won't be all the way until next year. From what we've seen out of this guy, even in the matches versus the average teams, he's not playing that well. And I know you guys all love stats, so I got some for you. 0.82 in the season so far. And they have played a decent amount of matches, so I think it is a decent enough sample size to gauge where this player is at. 0.87 at London. So that's not that much improvement from the first event. And he has specifically a 0.79 versus Chicago. Like, this guy is just getting destroyed on the main stage. He had one of the worst maps I've ever seen a player have ever in my entire life in the last 10 years of Call of Duty, going 8-32 in domination or something like that, just getting destroyed. And online, he's dominating. So clearly there's something that's getting to him either on that stage, in the big moments, and when they need him the most, he is not performing, especially on that first map in their match for Chicago, where Clay and Krim were going off. I think they had like 70 and 40 KD combined. This guy did not do anything.
I think the proof is in the pudding. He hasn't really been performing that well, and it's been very obvious to everybody. So, okay, go ahead and attack this one, Chance. It's going to be a tough one.
I think people have been putting too much pressure on Shotzzy, or at the very least, you can put the pressure on him, but I think he's going to step up and perform eventually. His stats look terrible, but they've played Chicago 3 times by now in FaZe. Half their series are against the 2 best teams in the game. It's very tough for your stats to look good when you keep getting beat as a team. And yes, he is the man underperforming, but when he plays against any other teams, he at the very least looks good. He's not the superstar we're expecting him to be, but this is his first real year in COD, and we have thrusted this man on the main stage. No one has had that much success, with one exception, of expecting to be a superstar and like exceeding those expectations, and that's Simp. We can't expect a new Simp to pop up every single year. He could be a one-in-a-generation talent for COD. Like, who knows? There's so many players like a Celium or any number of S&D stars we've seen over the years who they come in, they look kind of average, then eventually over time, they fill into their role. Shotzzy's going to be able to do that this year. He just needs a little bit more time.
No, we've seen players come into the scene and they don't get the results right away, but they don't put up stats like this. We've seen these players online who have been dominant and they don't get destroyed like that, especially when they join a team with players like Krim, like Clay, like Hook, who are absolutely insane, especially even in this game. We don't see players join teams like that who are crazy talents online and get bodied like that on land. I can't.
We see some of the best Call of Duty players all time when they play against Chicago and FaZe that they get bopped and their stats looked awful. We're watching Zuma repeatedly drop donuts. Zuma, one of the greatest like S&D players, maybe greatest is too far, but incredibly good.
Rewind to when Zuma burst into the scene though. He was absolutely dominating his first couple tournaments. He was just going off.
And Zuma now when he's playing against those top teams, his stats look awful. Half their series are against Chicago and FaZe. Everyone's going to have bad stats against him.
We're not talking about Zuma coming into this tournament and being an MVP and dominating in respawns though. We're talking about Shotzzy doing that. And what is he doing? He's completely different from online to LAN. There's something going on with this guy when he gets to that stage where he's starting to not play well. I don't know what it is specifically, but I can tell you one thing, he's not winning those gunfights or making those same plays that he was making online.
Right, and it's playing on the biggest stage, which you need more experience with, you need more time, and now they've played against Chicago repeatedly and FaZe. It's about
I don't agree with that.
No one's going to beat
I don't know
games,
their
though.
first series.
He's had championships.
Exactly, he's had
experience in
championships,
the
he's
games,
had experience. So that argument doesn't work for Shotzi in
In
particular.
a different
'cause
game,
he's
in a completely new environment.
He's played on the biggest stages in world championships, and he's won them. So to say the nerves are getting to this guy, I don't know. I think he just really doesn't know what he's doing when he gets up there. I think he just becomes clueless.
When you're playing with two legends like Krim and Clayster, you should have a little room to perform decent. Not that bad. So I'm going to go with Nameless on this one. 5-4 is the point count for that one. So good on you, Nameless, for defending that one. Now let's go ahead and check in at the score after round 2. And guys, it's a tie ball game, 8-8 right now between Nameless and Chance. Let's see who can prevail and pull through in our final round. Since it's Valentine's Day, I want to give some love to a player who really impressed me this weekend. It may have been easy to overlook given that Paris ended their run in the semifinals, but Dens was an absolute monster. So with that in mind, my hot take now is that Dens will be a top 5 player at the end of the season. I think you can defend this one, actually, Chance, since Nameless has defended the first 2 topics.
I mean, at the end of the season, it's interesting because obviously we just don't know. But at the moment, yeah, I think it would be reasonable to say Dens is the top 5 player. His stats are just bonkers right now. He is top 5 in KD for every single game mode. He looks fantastic. And even like on his team, with the amount of success that Paris has had, he is clear-cut best player on his team. Again, in all 3 game modes, he is putting up absurd stuff.
Clear-cut best player on his team?
Dude, he's
what
got
you talking about,
He's got
man?
a 1.46 in S&D.
Dude,
He's got 38 kills in search on his team. The next highest on his team is 22.
These stats are
22.
trash.
He's got 38 in search.
You're not.
Paris is playing out of his mind.
You're not telling me Dens is barely top 5 on his team.
Wait,
I mean, there's 5 players on his team,
Yeah,
so I would hope he's top 5.
Kismet and Shocks are better than Dens.
Dude, how can you argue with 38 kills in search and Troy? The next highest on the team is 22.
I don't care
his
what stats you
respawn
say.
is saying.
Bro, Dens
he is the
literally
most
plays in
kills
slow
in
motion.
respawn
Dens legitimately
overall.
plays in slow motion. This guy,
And he's still getting more kills than everybody else.
All right, I'll give you like 12 reasons why Dens isn't top 5 player and will not be top 5 player. Envoy, Gunless, Simp, Abizi, Arcides, Dashy, Octane, Formal, Scump, Slasher, Scraps, Hook, Selly, and Priesta, to name a few, are all better than Dens in his current form. And thank you. You should give me 12.
I can't give you 12 points.
In his
I
current
can't do that.
form, absolutely not.
He's better than him in his current form, and those players will be better than him at the end of the season as well, and they will continue to be better than Dens. Now, listen, Dens, you had a great couple maps, man. Don't get me wrong, and you're a solid player.
Didn't he have an insane hard point
But
score?
like Kismet,
We'll get there.
when you have a player like Kismet just flying in front of you, your stats are going to look okay. Like, your stats are going to look great because there's a player flying in front of you. Like, it's easy to pick up kills. He is not a top 5 player in the game. This guy's decision-making is not top 5. This guy's influence on the map is not top 5. Kismet's influence on the map is better than Dens, and Kismet's not even top 5. Shock's influence on the map is better than Dens, and he's not even top 5. To say that is absolutely preposterous. I will never agree to that statement or even put him in the ballpark like some of these players that are on my list. And they didn't even win the event. So like, if they won the event, maybe, but all 5 players on Chicago are better than Dens.
Nameless went off there.
Paris is a great team. Paris is a great team, well-oiled machine. They have a great coaching staff from top to bottom. They're like smart plays. But we're watching them play against Chicago. We know Chicago was going to be the best hardpoint team coming into the event. We were thinking they needed to steal a respawn. They beat him in both hardpoints. And it was Paris that choked the S&Ds because Dens didn't have any help in the searches. He was doing so much better than his teammates. And in the hardpoints, like that game 4 on Gunrunner against Chicago, me and Ben are casting that game. We're trying to figure out why it's close. The entire narrative, we're talking about how much like the Huntsmen are outslaying the opponent by. Then all of a sudden we check the scoreboard, and it was at a moment where Dens is going massive in like the P4 hill. He was alive for 30 seconds in the hill by himself with the pistol, being a wizard, and he had 40 kills in that game, dropped a 40 bomb against the Huntsmen, and he had 2 minutes in the hill.
Honestly, all
he
this
was
is going
Mr.
in
Do
one
It
ear.
All.
All this
Mr. Do It All against the best team, the guys that won the tournament, and he's the one that's going
I'm actually
off.
getting
How
really
is that
annoyed.
not top 5
I'm actually
player?
getting really annoyed by this. All this is going in one ear and out the other. Like, once this game develops and the teams start to catch up, Paris will not even be close to a top 4 team. And as it stands right now in this current meta, they're literally just running around and winning gunfights. And Dens is not even close to a top 5
I will
player.
be mind blown, Nameless, if at the end of the year Dens is still a top 5 player, but he is a top 5 at the moment.
To be top 5, you have to like be in finals.
They took the team that was in the finals to a game 5 that the other team in the finals couldn't do.
There is
they
8
3-0'd
players
Empire
in
in the
that
finals.
finals.
Paris took
Okay,
them to a
guys.
game 5.
I don't care.
The point I was trying to make is that he was trending upward. You know, that he would be a top 5 prospect. Not that he's top 5 right now. So you know what? I'm going to go with Nameless on this one. I'm going to go with Nameless. Chance, you did a great job. It was a valiant effort. It was a valiant effort, but it's 5-4. Once again, Nameless, you get this one.
5-4?
5-4, yes, 5 points. I couldn't give you 12
cap,
points.
brother.
I'm sorry, bro. I couldn't give you 12 for the names. You named the whole Call of Duty League player pool and expected me to give you points on that. But I will say that I think that Dens he just looks great. In that first weekend in Minnesota, Kismet was kind of the guy everyone was talking about in Paris. But Dens has just kind of been this like silent consistent player.
Denz is doing what he's supposed to do. He's the main AR for a team with a bunch of maniacs who fly in front of him. He's supposed to have good stats. And if he wasn't, then that would be absolutely terrible. So, like, this guy's doing his job. We shouldn't praise him like a top 5 player. Now, Denz, you're great. You're doing your job, but, like, you're not doing that much more than that.
Right.
All Search and destroy, though.
Cool.
Search and destroy, he was.
Denz, keep it up. Keep it up so we can revisit this conversation later on Contesting the Point. But, guys, there you have it. The first episode of Contesting the Point is over, and the first winner of Contesting the Point is Nameless. Nameless coming out,
reigning champ
coming out ahead
in
13
with the first W, baby.
Points,
and we're on the West Coast, like it's just perfect.
Yeah.
WW.
Yeah, you won by 1 point.
You gotta fly home on that L, fam.
That'd be tragic.
You won by 1 point, 13-12.
Yeah, I know,
so,
but like it should have been like 20. But
all right, well, go on. You can pick up the golden Astro headset, and you've got your 60 seconds to tell us what you think.
I'm passing his headset.
I'm not passing you nothing.
Oh, it feels good to win this show. Let me drop the mic real quick before I talk my smack. I gotta say, the Shotzzy question was a little bit of a loaded question or statement. I do think Shotzzy will get better as the season goes on, but you know, right now he's just not that good. So I can ease off your back a little bit. But I gotta say something to the Chicago fans out there who always tweet me, always saying that I'm talking crap about Chicago. You guys know I'm from Chicago, right? That's my home city. I love Chicago, I love the Huntsmen, and I like the players on that team. If anything, you guys should be thanking me for lighting a fire under players like Scump, like Formal, to perform and get that championship. So all you guys can get out of my Twitter feed, get out of my mentions, and stop annoying me and start tweeting me hearts and thank yous and saying thanks, Nameless, for lighting a fire under my team. You're welcome.
All right, guys, and that's going to do it for the first ever episode of Contesting the Point. Once again, congratulations to Nameless for taking the golden Astro headset. And guys, make sure you check back every Friday for more Contesting the Point. See you then.